Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Touchstone, Stories Behind the Hood. I'm your host, Frank Vargas, aka Traveling Frankie. Here I am in Houston, Austin, Hargett. Thank you so much, brother, for
Hey, thanks, Frank.
showing up at 8:30 in the morning on Valentine's Day.
I was actually here a little earlier, but
Yes,
you didn't see
yeah,
me.
I had to rush and do my whole makeup and thing because
No, what I'm
I wasn't
saying is
ready.
You didn't see me.
I wasn't ready.
I
No.
was in your closet.
All right. Well, all right, guys. Thank you. That was the show. Thank you very much. Austin, you guys. I mean, you kind of know how this works, and I just go left and right, top and bottom,
Sure.
and you name it, whatever. But so I've known you now for a few years, and of course, if you're in the industry and you follow social media, it's hard not to run into your face every so often. And I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a great thing. That's for you guys to judge, right?
Yeah, my mom says that I'm handsome, but I know it's
She's biased.
yeah, she's pretty biased.
Yeah.
But I think that was the goal, right? Is to really immerse myself into this industry, and especially using social media as leverage. It's just like I wouldn't say it was like a selfish goal, personal goal of just like I want people to know who I am. Right?
Gotcha.
And that wasn't just for the people on random folks on the internet, but
Yeah.
I wanted the industry to know who I am.
Correct. And I think, and before I ask more questions, but this specific one, was that before or after weld.com? Because that's who he works for now, and we'll touch on that a little bit later.
That was before. I first got into social media. You know Scott Robbie,
Yeah.
from Precision Welding Academy. Before Scott Robbie had that, and before he was a teacher at another school that we worked together at, and a production shop together that we worked at. We go back a while.
Gotcha.
And
Even though he's 21, but anyway. Yeah.
I'm 31 now.
Yeah.
But I met Scott first as a teacher, and he was on social media at that time, had about 30,000 followers, had people sending him really cool stuff, and equipment, free gear, and all
Gotcha.
that good stuff. And I had recognized him from social media when he started working with me, and kind of was like a little starstruck, and I was like, man, how do I get into
Yeah, how do I do that?
How do you do that? And it's simple. It's just staying consistent. You just start posting.
Yeah, that's exactly it. But by then you are already, which we're gonna go into it. By then you are fully immersed in the welding industry. Like this is your thing already. By then, when you already made that rock star that in your eyes, like right?
Yeah, no, I was welding for some time before that.
Gotcha. So that's exactly where I want to start. So we are in Houston. Are you born and raised in this area?
No, I was born in Colorado.
Oh, really? You know what? So many of Houston, Florida, like no one's from there. Everyone's from somewhere else. So Colorado. And how old were you when you came to Texas?
Yeah, so my pops, he was in the Air Force. That's why I was born in Colorado. We moved a couple states.
Gotcha.
Ended up in Texas, and then lived in Dallas for a bit. Went to middle school and stuff there, but there wasn't anything FFA and ag and stuff at the school that I was at, which was a big 4A school.
Correct.
I didn't see a lot of it there, but where my dad lived, they had enough. That was like that's all they wanted to do, and so at about 13 years old, about to go to high school, I was like, I'm gonna go live with my dad, and that was a big pivotal point for me into just immersing myself in a different culture that was a little bit more rural, maybe.
Gotcha.
Right. So and then I, of course, trying to figure out what classes I wanted to do. They were like, there's metal shop as an option. I was like, what's metal shop? And they're like,
So was there a list of classes though? Like what else were they presenting?
I mean, you had, normal electives like your choir, band, you had metal shop, wood shop. There was other ag classes. There was animal husbandry.
Gotcha.
There was all types of FFA stuff that you could get into. And they were like, metal shop's an option, and you can like use a torch and melt metal stuff. I was like,
Well, that's a good way of selling it to a 13, 14, 15-year-old kid, right?
I was the kid all my life to poke the fire. I was the one that built the fire. I wanted to burn stuff.
There you go. So now they say, hey, this is what that means. This is what it does. Right away you said yes, like I'll try it out.
Yeah, no, that sounded fun, right? It sounded like for a whole hour of my school day, I can come in here and like grind and make a bunch of noise and melt stuff. Sounds fun.
That is pretty cool. So now, how long were you in school, and how long of a time were you actually under the class, or at some point you stopped, or you never stopped?
Well, in high school, it started my sophomore year, and I loved it. Like if I got in trouble in my classes, they sent me back to my ag shop. They were like, they didn't
Crap,
send me.
I'll be like, getting in trouble on purpose.
It ended up a lot. I was still not. My teachers still liked me. I wasn't like super disrespectful very often. It was very rare that I was ever kicked out of the class. But if there wasn't much going on and I made note of it, then I was like, hey, get out of here.
All right,
They
cool.
usually let me, and not usually kicked out kind of thing. I was a really nice, persuasive student. I just wanted to go in there and play around.
Hey, and here you are now.
And the biggest sell for me was the fact that you could build a project through the year that the school would help fund, and then at the end of the year you could sell it at the show.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So that was like the biggest thing. I want to go work on my project.
Oh, that is really cool. So sophomore, junior, senior, you are going through the whole thing.
More electives that they let me take, just put those slots for metal shop.
Gotcha. So by now, what processes were you doing at school? Like, what was the one thing, and not only what processes were they teaching you, what was the one that you connected the most?
I used a lot of MIG. MIG was pretty much the thing that we used all the time for building anything.
Okay.
And then we played around in the welding booths with the tombstone welders to do stick and stuff.
Whatever, yeah.
But there were welding competitions back then, some local stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was, we even had it at our own school, almost like the Texas High School Series now, but probably a lot smaller.
Gotcha.
Over there in Jacksonville, Texas. That's where I went to high school.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
So now I'm over in East Texas.
Yeah. Were you into anything else other than welding
Baseball.
through high school? Oh, really?
Yeah.
What, you played in high school, or what
Yeah.
position?
Second and center, right field was most of the positions that I played.
Were you any good, or just...
No, I would be. I mean, if I just dead honest, I was amateur at best.
Yeah.
And in high school, I was an amateur. I didn't never take it as seriously as the other guys.
Gotcha.
I played since I was 4 years old.
Okay.
I loved baseball. I loved
Yeah.
the camaraderie. I liked playing
Yeah.
out. I loved making a bunch of noise.
I know.
Yelling at the other teams. Like, that was me.
Trust me, that was me as a coach and as a player. Like I was
coach-
just an asshole. Yeah.
My coaches hated me.
Yeah.
Or my coach did not like the fact that if you put me in the dugout, I'm talking.
Oh,
so
it's
you sit me. That was my way of getting back on the field.
Even more. I remember when I was coaching and my first travel coach team that I had, I'm like, okay, I'm cocky and arrogant as hell, so I'm gonna kind of teach the kids to be a little bit of have a chip on their shoulders. So I remember we bought one of those Bluetooth speakers, and we show up to every game with all I do is win, no matter what. The whole song and the whole team and everyone's looking at us like, what the hell? I mean, we kind of lost a lot of the games, but at least, it made an impression in the beginning. Then we got really better and we didn't lose much. But
I did a lot more heckling of like the pitchers
Yeah.
and the catcher. There's whoever needed the heckling at the time.
Yeah.
Just shout their number and
yeah,
just try to get in their head.
You get them out of their game. That's
Try to
it.
get
That's
in their
it.
head.
So now high school is done, and you're like, okay, what happens next?
It was like probably my junior year. I was like, I'm gonna go to welding school for sure.
Okay.
TSTC came in with their welding trailer. They showed us AC aluminum TIG welding, and they showed me more TIG welding, and I was like, I want to do that. I'm going there, right? So I knew pretty quick. I was blessed.
This was
and I
your-
thought, like,
this was your
I
thing.
want to do. I was going to be. I was told that I was a much better welder, and I knew I was not that good of a ball player, and no scouts looking for me. So
Yeah.
that's where I went with it. All my family was on board. They're like, man, get a trade. You'll never not have a job.
That is so true, and that's cool that you had the support from your family as well. That because sometimes families put other ideas in kids' heads, like, oh well, first try these and then be like, hey, if the kid has a passion, push him right away and go for it, right? So I love that fact that they went that route with you as well. So now when you went to welding school, which welding school?
Texas State Technical College in Waco.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
And how long were you there?
2 years.
2 years. Was there a huge difference between what you learned in high school and
Yes.
yes?
Oh, yeah.
What specific? Like, what's the one thing like? Holy crap!
Shout out to all the high school instructors out there just trying to make it happen
With what they got.
with what they got.
But here comes the but. Yeah.
But there's a skills gap, and I think there's some education that has to happen. My instructor wasn't a welder in high school.
I see.
He wasn't a welding teacher.
He was just given books and say, follow this
he
curriculum.
was. I can't remember what more of his FFA skills were based out of. Mr. Seth McFarland was his name.
Seth MacFarlane, huh? Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't there a
Shout
movie?
out to Mr. McFarland.
Yeah.
He was still an awesome teacher. And he still knew how to weld.
Gotcha.
He just wasn't a welder, right?
I see.
So then you go into college and then you got welders, right?
Yeah.
They're supposed to at least be welders.
Correct.
And had seen it and done it. So that was a big pivotal part in the education in college. And what I've seen transition from being a student back then to teaching, almost 8 years later, was that like the theory and stuff is just kind of being left to the students to learn instead of
I see.
Instead of mixing it a lot more.
It's a lot easier just say, hey, go to the booth and start burning
Go to the booth
stuff.
to weld, learn how to weld, get you out the door, go to the next
class. Yeah. So that's because you just mentioned. So you went 2 years, and then 8 years later or so, you were teaching yourself, right?
Probably less.
All right.
A lot less.
All right. Tomatoes, right? But in that gap, after 2 years of college or welding school, what were you doing to make money before you got that teaching job?
Oh, okay. So right out of welding school, there was a pressure vessel company that came to our school.
Got it.
Students, hired a group of students. We got paid very, very little to do a whole freaking lot. But we were green. We were as green as can be. And they were willing to teach you and let you mess up. But I'm talking, we were TIG welding or pulse MIG welding, the intro test, was a 8-inch pipe with a backing strap rolled on a positioner with pulse MIG. It's a very easy process to just
let it roll.
let it roll and let it weld up. That was just to get hired. And then you could get, there was a ton of tests that they had.
You can hold the gun, you're hired.
Yeah, if you can get this done, you're hired for $14 an hour.
Whew. Mom, I made it. Dad, that's it. I'm moving out.
Mind you, this is an 8-inch pipe that you're testing on, but the vessels we're building are bigger than this room, for sure. Well bigger than this room. You're talking 28 inches, or 28 minutes of weld time just to get it screwed in.
Oh, really?
Like,
damn. That's,
falling asleep on it. Damn. But it is a very easy process to get done.
Correct.
The selling point that they had was, look at all these other certifications we have that you can take, and you get a pay bump every time you get a new one.
Okay.
Took that to heart. I want to learn.
Of course.
Learn.
And they're going to pay me to do that and give me a bump.
Right. So anytime there was downtime, I tried to take a test and get a new certification. All the while, I'm still learning. The nice thing about that shop was they stuck the newbies with a welder that'd been there for decades. These guys have been building vessels.
How do they take in the newbies? Because I mean, sometimes
there's two different guys, man.
There's always
There's two different guys. I work like one of the guys that got hired with me. He got stuck with one of the welders, and I got stuck with another. Mine like made me do everything. His didn't want to touch anything. Not that he couldn't do it.
Yeah. So that was a good thing for you. Like you wanted that, right?
I was forced to.
Gotcha.
But it was like, man, they give you a blueprint this big and you just see lines and numbers and just can't understand it. And then when you take the page, it's like, here's part 1, dude.
Yeah.
When you're looking
break it down, right?
Part 1. And it goes from laying out these big shells. So you're like doing all these drawings and stuff, lining out where each nozzle is located on this big piece of pipe, and then you put the size hole you need. Then you have to go cut the hole and clean that hole and bevel that hole, because some of these shells are inches thick, right? So
how ready did you think you were after going through high school, going through welding school, and then getting to this job and being forced to do everything, which it worked out great. But how ready did you think you were by then?
I was terrified.
Yeah.
I mean, like the whole part of leaving welding school was like, welding school is so comfortable. Like we can still make those mistakes.
We're a team, right? Yeah.
And then you go into this vessel like this. The test doesn't sound scary.
Correct.
And then you go into the shop and you see the shop, and it's like football fields long, and they're moving like hundreds of thousands of pounds of metal around. Yeah. And you're watching these guys weld stuff, and you're like, I ain't never touched none of that. And they expect me, this 20-year-old, it's 20. To pick up this thing with an over 25-ton overhead crane. One of the stories I won't forget is, mind you, these vessel heads, they're like big bowls, right?
Yeah.
And some of them are, let's call this one 80 inches in diameter, half-inch thick. That's a casual one.
Yeah.
When you go to pick them up when they're done, you have to pick them up with an overhead crane a certain way, or they'll
swing all over the place.
Goes crazy and swing. Mine went fine, but it started to kind of spin and twist, which it wasn't twisting fast.
And you're like, guys, is that supposed to happen?
No, I didn't say anything. I was like, I got this, not a big deal. It's not even moving that fast. But this is
it's freaking
heavy.
Yeah.
And it's moving like this.
Yep.
It's not moving fast. And these guys are watching me. They're all watching me. And I just stick my hand out to go grab the side of that thing.
Just took you.
And it just, whoop, just threw me with it. Took me with it.
These 90-pound little thing, right?
50 pounds wet wearing boots tossed, man.
All the old timers like, yep, welcome to the team.
Yep.
That's great.
Yeah, they laughed, and then I just said, just set it down.
And so you were there for how long?
Man, so part of that whole trying to get those tests done, and I was passing some tests for stainless steel and carbon steel on my TIG.
So you were getting those certs.
I was starting to getting those certs, and I was fixing other people's stuff, and like I was the guy now pushing around. Instead of being the guy welding the heads out, I'm pushing a TIG cart around to go weld people's stuff and do all the TIG welding, all the stuff that needed to be TIG welded. It hadn't got a raise yet. Finally came for the evaluation. They were like, we'll give you 50 cents. And I was like, I'm going to find a new job. So I went helping.
Wow.
I went helping on the pipeline.
Huh. And when you say, so now you still have done these couple of things.
That was about a year.
That's about a year. And that's after that you went into teaching?
No. So I started pipelining after that. That did about 2 years. When I say pipeline, you could see some of the videos on weld.com where we went to RMS Welding Systems.
Oh, I did see that, yeah.
That automation.
Yeah, the whole thing.
That's the shop I used to work at.
Oh, okay. Actually, I think you did mention that, because you gave a plug to whoever the guy was that was still there.
Yeah, there's some good people there. Paul's there, KD's there, Sedovis. I mean, there's a lot of cool guys there.
Cool, awesome. So you were there again for a little bit. And why were you there for such a short time, and what was it that made you go to the next thing?
The pipeline?
Yeah.
I was there for about 2 years.
Okay.
So, mind you, I was a helper. That shop moved from Canada to Houston they had 2 locations, and then they went union for $7.98. So I was told to get my union book as a helper. So I went union as a helper, which was great. I was excited about the opportunity, willing to work my way up. It just seemed there's just a lot of grunt work a helper has to do.
Before
and you just gotta grit your teeth and do a bunch of stuff. And it took
Yeah.
about 2 years before I was tired of doing things. And I don't know the politics of stuff, but
Correct, yeah.
how to get my welder's book, how to get out of this hole that I'm in. I'm tired of yanking these shacks apart. I'm tired of doing all this. Like, I'm doing some nasty stuff, and I just had enough. And I had a way out, which was I met a guy at a dog park who offered me a teaching position at a welding school down the street.
All right, wait. So you knew this guy?
No, I never met him a day in
So
my life.
he's in charge of the school or the welding,
He's
whatever.
an instructor there.
Okay, and he sees you at a dog park.
Yeah.
How does that happen? Hey, by the way, you look like you're a welder. Do you know how to weld? Can you teach?
And I was actually a lot more aggressive than that. I was talking
Okay.
to his wife at the dog park.
Okay.
We were just the only 2 people in the dog park because you're at an apartment complex. You
Yeah.
have to walk your dog, so we're just like kind of forced to be there.
Gotcha.
So just being polite, just saying hi.
Yeah.
He comes rolling up, skirt. Not knowing who I'm talking to. His
Ooh, yeah.
He's rolling down. He's like, "What's up, man?" I was like, "Hey, your wife's telling me you can give me a job," because I was talking to her about it.
Oh, I see. Somehow we got to that you're in the welding industry. Oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just telling her, I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm a welder," and she's like, "Oh, no kidding."
He's like, I don't give a.
Yeah. No, he came up after he found out that I was looking for a job. They have a referral bonus, so he was like, "I'll get you a job."
Huh.
So
That's what's crazy about life, right? I mean, that every step we take, every decision, at some point it ties to something else, and that's just and that's awesome. So you go, sure. You said yes right away to it.
Yeah, let me go because I'm working on these automatic jobs on this pipeline. I'm not really welding a whole lot, right? And I fear that I'm losing the skills that I have. So I thought, what perfect. Just go to welding school.
Yeah.
I got to teach these guys. I had didn't want to teach nobody. I just wanted to learn myself. I wanted to get my hand back.
Yeah.
So all you can weld sounded perfect.
Yeah.
It was not great salary, but they offered a
Well,
raise.
we all know that teaching is not for the money.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they want some better quality welders to come out in this world. They got to pay the instructors better.
It's the same thing with any jobs like that. You want better police force. You want better teachers. Like, starts at the base. So now you were there. After going through high school, being a student, after going through welding school, being a student, working for a few companies out there now, being on the workforce, and now you find yourself like, holy crap, I'm still in my 20s, now I'm going to be teaching whoever. Did you think you had, not the knowledge on how to do stuff, but did you think you had the how to connect and teach others?
Always been kind of a personal person. It's not.
Okay.
I don't have.
That's a personal opinion, by the way.
I've never met a stranger, right? So I can talk to anybody.
Okay.
And
But there's a big difference between really teaching and getting that person to get something out of what you're saying,
Right.
versus just like, hey, what's going on? Hey, how are you? Oh, cool, that's cool.
One thing that I learned when I was in school was a lot of theory, and again, I mentioned that before. The kids aren't getting as much theory now. What I learned, I had a metallurgy class. I took semesters of metallurgy where they have like books like this, where we had to read about, the carbon phase diagram. We had to cut welds that we just made apart and really polish them so that we could get a cross section, so that we could look at under a microscope, do hardness testing, do tensile pools, and do the research and do the science behind what it's actually doing.
You don't see that often.
No, you don't. It's even the school now. The same school
Doing that.
doesn't have it all set up to keep going.
What a shame.
Yeah, so it's just
So now you're there at school, first class. How was that day?
the students thought I was a joke, right? I'm looking all these guys in the eye, and they're the same age as me for sure.
I know,
or older,
Yep.
right? And I'm shadowed with another instructor, and he leaves. He's like, "All right, guys, I gotta check out. You guys are with Austin.
We got the new guy.
He's with y'all. He's gonna teach y'all today. And we're in lab, so I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, you 20 people, I'm gonna weld this piece of pipe. So that was a learning experience, and they all like looked at me like, this guy's about to teach me, but I smoked that thing. It looked good. It looked nice. And after I put a root in, everyone listens whenever you can do it.
Yeah, once they can see,
listening.
okay, he knows. I don't know if he's going to be able to speak, but I know that he definitely can do the hands-on. Yeah.
And the teaching, it'll come with time, but the amount of students that I taught, you learn quickly what they're having most of their issues with.
Correct.
So you can usually pry out of them pretty quickly, especially while looking at a weld.
Yeah.
And then comes to the how do you break it down, right? And
Gotcha.
it really is simple. Just talk to them like they're people.
Talk to them like they're welders.
Yeah.
Or wannabe welders, right?
Well, not down to them.
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
talking down to them. Try to, if they don't know the terminology, don't make them feel bad for it.
Exactly.
Just give them the slang, give it
Yeah.
right back, but like still give them the proper
Yeah.
stuff to know.
And so how long were you a teacher?
I stuck around a lot longer than I wanted. Probably about 3 years. They helped me get my CWI as well.
Okay.
So that helped again.
Again, someone's giving you something for free.
Yeah.
You know, education, which is, hey, I've always said, are you crazy? Why you're not going to take that, right?
Yeah. The knowledge is power. If you can get someone to pay for your schooling, do it, man.
I know.
Even if you don't think you have time
you
for
can
it.
quit the day after you get the cert.
I mean, it didn't take long for me to leave after that.
Yeah, I got what I wanted. Thank you. See ya.
Yeah.
So when you left, you had already something lined up, or you just
And again, it came down to another connection.
Another dog park?
No, no. This was more of a family friend who did a lot of traveling as far as the new construction or turnaround shutdowns and power plants.
Okay.
So there was a big power plant just getting built, and there's a new construction job. It was going to take 3 years to build, like 45 minutes up the road from my house. And I was like, I want that one.
Yeah.
So that's when I left school. I was like, there's plenty of time for me to come work here and make a good amount of money.
So at this time you are mid-20s, right? And were you already in a relationship yet?
Yeah. At this point, I had a fiance. I left that one, but and then I had met my wife at this point.
Gotcha. Cool. Because and the reason why, because you guys know how this works. I go all over the place. Now you are in a relationship. You're married?
Yes.
Yes. And you just had a daughter 2 years ago, and now you guys are expecting again.
On the way.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.
A girl the first time, and do you guys already know?
Boy, this time.
Wow, look at that. Right off the bat, one on
Nailed
one.
it.
Damn, you're good.
Thanks, man.
So congrats. And here you are, you said you were 31, right? So at 29, at 28, you find out you're going to be a dad. What was that? How did you feel when, oh my goodness?
You
You said it was kind of planned, right?
yeah, we were planning on it, but what wasn't planned was getting let go from my job the day before finding out that I was having a kid.
Oof.
Yeah, that was scary.
I just got goosebumps in a bad way.
Yeah.
So I can imagine, what the hell am I going to do?
Yeah.
Here I have all of this going on. So how did you cope with that?
Mind you, all since that first welding school job, I started doing social media. I started posting. I started being consistent.
You always called it Dr. Wells?
Well, no, it was actually the Daily Hargett, which is my last name.
Okay, got it.
So-
Which probably was going to be hard for people to know what that was.
I found out quickly it was like,
Yeah.
hey, can you guys follow me? No, what's your handle? It's the Daily Hargett. No, like,
It's spelled and blah, blah, blah.
I'll tell you. I'll find it later.
Yeah.
So-
yeah, I would have been like, hell no, I don't want to follow this, pedophile. Anyway, just so now
I was a kid. I was like 23. 24,
whatever.
like, I
Anyway,
was trying to make
you know
this.
what I mean. So how long did you have that name, and then when did you create Dr. Wells now that has over 87,000 followers?
I quickly found out that I needed to get something more searchable. So
Okay.
that was all it came down to. Me and my buddy Michael Bradshaw, he was actually the one who came up with Dr. Wells. And I was like, man, that's corny.
Because you had to end it with a Z, I guess,
Yeah.
because the regular
That's
wasn't
why
available.
I was like, that's edgier. No,
Oh,
it was
okay.
I was like, that's just cooler with the Z. Put that Z in there.
Oh, all right, cool. So now, what was the intent when you created Dr. Wells? Like, I'm going to start posting
free
what a
shit.
welder.
That is straight honest. And
There you go.
I saw friends of mine that were doing it. They were getting sponsorships, and I was like, man, I want to set up a shop. I want my own little setup.
Got it.
I can't afford it on this instructor salary. How do I find another way? So Instagram pays too. So
Yeah.
that was like the thought process was maybe if I can get big enough,
Yeah.
maybe someone will send me a T-shirt.
Small goals in life, small goals. And how many t-shirts do you have now?
I don't have to buy clothes anymore. It's kind of cool.
Yep, there you go. So now, again, going back to, oh my God, we're going to have a baby. Awesome. I don't have a job. How long were you without a job, and how long were you just in your room saying,
Well, this is where well.com ties in.
okay,
Well.com.
cool.
Got me.
Yeah.
Okay.
How,
So I was doing the social media stuff all that time, even in the power plants, posting pictures and videos when I shouldn't have been posting pictures and videos in the power plants.
so how long have you been with Weld.com?
2.5 years.
Okay, and at that time, how many followers did you have on your Instagram, give or take? So now you're 87 plus.
It was about 20.
20. So even because of the content that you were creating and you had 20,000 followers, give or take, they saw something and they reached out to you?
they were looking for people to make videos. So at that time, Weld.com's kind of business model was find the people that know how to weld and have them shoot their own videos and send them in. We will edit them and post them so that we have a global welding community and we have a bunch of people teaching the entire world. That was the idea.
Gotcha.
It was tough because not everyone could stay consistent with the posting that needs to be consistent.
Correct. That's the trick. Yeah, especially if you are a regular 9 to 5, or this is what you do. It's like, oh my god, it becomes work itself.
Well, everyone else had full-time jobs, you know.
That's
they were busy, and it was completely understandable.
Yeah, correct.
That you can't get to it. I just need it.
So now, when they reached out to you, and that was their MO still at that moment, were they still trying to go that route, and then something shifted and they go, well, let's us create this content? Or like, when did that change?
So it was back to the getting fired part. I was teaching at a school and I was posting a lot of content. It was going well. The school was never said a word about it. I would share it with my bosses. They would like it.
Okay.
It wasn't ever a problem. Then Well.com asked me to make content part-time. Just make a video, we'll pay you part-time, 1099 stuff. And I took it to heart, made a bunch of videos, and then the school caught wind. They're like, I don't know about this. And so I tried to get an NDA signed that I could have permission to shoot there.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of red tape went up.
Of course.
And then the red tape went up, and it was just a matter of time. And that when I saw the signs, that's when I was like leaning into Well.com. I was like, what's up with a full-time job? I could do this. I could be making a lot more videos for you. I do it full-time.
Yeah.
So Ves Marinova, who was in charge of Well.com at the time, thank you, Ves. Got to give it to Ves, who helped get me in.
There you go.
She stuck her neck out for me, got me in full-time, and it snowballed to
work. Yeah.
Doing the operations of the whole thing.
And
right at the time I got fired, she didn't know this, but I still did not have a salary technically that I negotiated to get my salary at Well.com.
Hey, that's business, and you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone would blame anyone else for doing it. Is what it is. You don't know, and you don't need to know until you need to know.
So I lost my job. I was like, Well.com I think is going to pull through, but didn't know yet. And then it was like, we're having a baby right in between it. And I was like, hey guys, what's up?
Yeah.
I'm trying to get this job.
Now, were you, all right, so you're creating content on your own stuff, on your own platforms. And were you good at the whole posting, editing, videoing, like the whole thing? Like was that also something that came naturally to you? Because I mean, here you are, you're 31, so of course technology is something that you have grown with, and but that doesn't mean that you might be good at doing the whole behind the scenes.
I would say I started off always using what was ever
in
Instagram or TikTok or whatever it was. So I edited all my own stuff at that point. Whenever took on with Well.com, I've neglected Dr. Welts. Neglected Dr. Welts quite a bit.
Yeah.
And that's something that I'd like to fix pretty soon.
Yeah.
It's just being more personal with my own personal brand.
Correct.
Because I've been so focused on Well.com trying to make sure that everyone sees what we're doing because we think it's pretty awesome.
It is. And plus, let's face it, that's the 9 to 5, right? That's the job. So, but I think we were talking about this, everyone has the right to also have and grow their personal brand, because at the end of the day, you are you and they are them and so on. And hopefully companies understand these kind of things that, it's still your face.
I don't believe in competition, man. I believe in collaboration.
There you go.
If you can collaborate, is always going to be stronger than competing.
Well said. Well said. What's the biggest thing, because how many followers does Weld.com has now?
A couple million.
Yeah. On which platforms?
Million on YouTube, and then
because you guys got your plaque a while ago, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, the plaque's nice. I don't know. I didn't make the whole thing, so it's hard to say it was mine.
Correct. It was a combination of ladder steps, people before you and so on. And
one thing I want to say to everyone who comments that said, "Oh, this channel is just an ad now." Go listen to Mr. Jason Becker's podcast.
Correct.
Steve.
Art Junkie, yeah.
They were taking, sponsorship deals way back then. That channel has always been based on sponsorships. That's how we're able to afford stuff, to do stuff.
Guys, you got to travel, you got to film, you got to edit, you got to eat, so of course, that's just the way it is. And
are you going to pay me?
Yeah, right? Yeah. I'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
And because I remember, and that's... I don't know. That's the first time I met you a few years back.
Oh yeah, I was barking up your tree trying to get some sponsorships.
I know, correct. So you came to the Woodlands for the AWS Summit, and I don't know how. I think Greg
Richardson.
Correct. He knew me, or I don't think I was doing a post here and there. I don't know how he knew more about me than I knew about him. But anyway, so he reached out or sent to you, and hey, I'm going to send Austin, and then you came, and of course I work for a company, and they're the ones that got to fork out the money for whatever, and
I'm like, "What's up, Frank? I never met you before. Hey, what's up? You need? I can make you a TikTok.
Yeah, I know.
I'll make you some TikToks.
I know." And I'm like, okay, but then you actually had a few of even Greg himself, and I remember you sent someone to talk to me about just me giving them some advice on kind of where to go expose, and
Yeah.
which I think she's no longer with
Right.
Weld. Yeah.
And I think she took that advice to heart, and she's found herself a new spot. You know,
Oh, cool.
she was a great girl, and I think a lot of things with Well.com. It takes like if you welders like are very particular,
Yep.
and it really helps to know the welder, and I
Yeah.
think that's what has helped for Well.com since Bo and I really kind of grabbed
Yeah.
the rails, and
You guys have taken it to another level.
even
That's
our
for sure.
editor who has been involved in the industry a long time,
Mm-hmm.
right? Maybe not a welder, but has been involved in the marketing side of the industry. Helps a lot
Knows
more than the
enough.
editor that we might have had before that didn't know what they were looking at.
Yeah.
It was tough. It was tough translating.
Yeah.
It's tough to.
No, it is, and I'll be perfectly honest. When you first reached out, I wasn't getting it either. I'll be honest. Not only
No one did. No one got it.
so because I wasn't getting it, it was hard for me to explain it forward, and even to the owners of Uni. Was like, hey, there's this thing, and these guys, and they are saying this, and all right, and I'm like, I don't know, that's all I got. It's just I'm like, so the answer is no. All right, cool,
Man,
good.
we got things figured out. We know what we're about now, and essentially, we do sell content.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
We sell education to the users.
Correct.
YouTube would pay for that.
Yeah.
Thanks to YouTube for the views, right? And then to make our salaries so we can do this, we rely heavily on our sponsorships, and it's done well. I think people have saw what we're capable of, and we're not trying to push anything down anyone's throat.
Yeah.
But we do want to educate people. It's out there, the new tools that are available, the new
Correct.
machines that are coming out with the new bells and whistles. I mean, why not show them? This is a channel that should show everything. Weld.com.
And that's my thing. As long as this is again my opinion, as long as it's neutral to whatever, and I'm exposing anything and everything, and not just leaning on just one side, one brand, one thing, one whatever, then people will connect a lot more because they won't see it as it's just a one trick commercial. Again, but at the end of the day, it's a company, and they gotta answer and report and whatever they come up with, and it's what we all gotta either watch or not watch. At the end of the day, it's up to us.
The transparency with me and our sponsors has really helped. Just saying, look, this video is not about your machine.
Yeah.
This video is about this lesson. I'm going to teach this lesson.
Yeah.
We are going to use your machine.
Yeah. Just happens to know.
I'm going to talk about it.
Yeah.
But we're going to go right back to teaching because that's what people are here for. They're here to learn something.
Correct.
So you'll see a lot less product reviews on the channel. Like you don't see a lot of unboxings anymore because I can show everybody what that machine's capable of.
Correct.
Let me get a few videos.
Yeah.
Let me, instead of one video for you,
you get so much content out of one thing.
More content for you, and they're like, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, and organically, people, what do you think they're going to see? Red, blue, yellow, green, whatever. You know what they are, So
they're not dumb.
Yeah,
they're watching.
Well, all right, guys, because we're live. That's what happens. So that's amazing.
Dang it, Jeff.
I know. That's actually one of the reps calling, because remember, I have a 9 to 5 that I got to do stuff and
Yeah, it's
get
8
paid
in the
for
morning.
it.
He's supposed
I know.
to work.
Yeah, it's yeah, I'm actually by now I've already made 10 calls and sent 50 emails. But anyway, it's Valentine, so I'm here with my date. Now, 2.5 years later, here you are. What is the one thing that Wells has done for you the most? Is it just the recognition part, or is it also the knowledge and or the relationships?
So part of my education and my CWI and always having to teach it, that was how I got it to get stuck in my head.
Yeah.
Was verbally spitting it back out to students, right?
Sound comes in, records. Yeah.
Yeah, I cannot retain nothing, dude. I can do it for a second, like on my videos. I try to
just enough to it. Hey guys. Yeah.
Yeah, and then dude, my brain can't hold it. It won't hold it anymore.
Because it's full?
I don't need it. No, it's not full. I just don't need that right now.
Okay.
I can get it back if I want it.
All right. Hey.
But I don't know. My brain's silly, just like anyone else's. Now, with where were we going with this? I forgot.
What was the one thing that has given you the most relationships, knowledge, recognition, and that's when you started on this path of this answer, which I'm not sure.
Yeah. No, it's my family, man. Just the fact that being able to be at home, I can at a drop of the hat go do anything with my daughter. I can go do anything. I can have my own schedule, and that's what Well.com has really given me. Now, the education things, back to that point, trying to make sure that I don't sound like an idiot on the internet. I definitely try to fact check myself before, and if I don't, someone will, and which is fine. Yeah. I will try to learn from it. I try not to ever take it. I take everything with a grain of salt. I don't know everything, and I'm damn sure going to make a mistake.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's the other thing is show the mistake. When I make it, show the mistake.
But you know what? And that's what connects with people. It's like, oh my God, he's just one of us. He's just like me, and so on. And that's what people want. People don't want perfection. They just want to see that, hey, how do you do when that happens? Because that'll happen more than actually getting it right the first time.
100%.
So that's awesome. Where would you like to? Do you do side jobs? Like, do you actually get and go and
Not
fabrication
much
or do
anymore.
anything, or you don't have time for it?
I have time for it. I just like one of those things as far as comfortability. I get my salary, I get my benefits.
You're home.
I'm home.
Yeah.
I have I have some time, so
Okay.
that's what
So
I'm
you
looking.
could if you wanted to.
Right. So that's what I'm looking to do next. I'm starting to grease my wheels a little bit more. I want
Yeah.
to get back on Dr. Weld's.
Okay.
Get on there. I'm started my first LLC,
Okay.
which I've never done before. I've always talked about you should always do what you should. I'm trying to do what
Lead by example.
practice what I preach now. So I bought my LLC, Weld Pro LLC.
Cool.
I don't know what I want to do with it yet.
But he has it
Building a website currently.
on your own.
On my own.
Yeah.
And I want it to work with the social medias and even with well.com and all that so that it all ties together.
Gotcha.
But it would have to include finding side work.
Correct.
So that I can have content.
Plus, you get paid for the side work, and then you also
of
have the
course.
content that eventually also gets you paid.
There's been a few jobs that I've done on well.com where the client, like the roller coaster video.
Oh, I remember. I remember that
like
one.
the
Yeah.
banner on the YouTube channel right now. I promised that customer, I promise you, I'm not licensed or insured right now, but I can fix this.
Yeah.
I can fix it and I'll charge you half the price that the other guy. They did not understand that one bit. And then I was like, look, I'm just here to shoot a YouTube video.
Yeah.
And then it even confused
And
them even further.
Oh, that's like what? So you're not here even to fix it.
You're just a
Yeah.
YouTuber?
Yeah.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
And I was like, I promise
people
you.
write these things, and
I said, I promise you I can fix it. So they let me fix it, right? So that was part of the thing, and then what I'll probably do, again, and a friend of mine asked me the same question. He's like, so, like, I'm building a trailer right now. It's got a bunch of really cool bells and whistles on it. He's like, you going to put that thing to work? I was like, not that much.
Huh.
Because the work will be secondary to the content. If I need content, I'll go work. But I don't want to work.
Gotcha. Oh, so you don't want to work?
I don't know. No one. If you ask any welder that's welded for more than 10 years, they'll say, I don't want to work.
Well, that is true. That is true. So you never had aspiration of having your own,
I love welding. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
I love welding.
but not get paid for it.
Well, I don't want to, like, it's just,
No, I get it. It's like when you have to do it for a living after you've done it for so long, you're like, ooh, I just want to do it on my own terms.
Yeah.
I totally get it. So I guess at this moment, you wouldn't like to have your own detached from your house shop. People can just bring stuff and you have a crew and they do work. Is that ever
no,
been a
it's too
thing?
much responsibility.
Yeah.
We got to make, like, stuff really nice and really, like, you got to rely on a lot of moving parts.
Especially
and a lot
people,
and a lot of rules.
Yeah.
What I do want is still that detached garage, but I want every metalworking tool possibly imaginable as a nonprofit. Right, I'm a nonprofit. I have all these cool sheet metal working tools. I got welders. I got casting. We can cast metal. We can do some silversmithing over here. We can do some iron working.
So
We can do
is
any
it
type of welding.
is it like a kind of like a school thing that you want to do?
Yeah, it's more of like so I just want more of like a maker
Jack of
space.
all trades.
Only
for the
metal,
welding, yeah.
just metal, not just welding.
Yeah,
metal working, metal
got it.
fabrication, welding, casting. Like, I just want as I think metal is fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Which makes it hard for me to just sit in one spot and build one thing.
Yeah, I love when people start just juggling all kinds of things that are not supposed to work together. In the metal side of things. That's why I'm always looking at the metal artists and like, oh, you're not supposed to do this with that, but look, I still made it, and
Oh,
it
tell me
held.
what
It's
to
not coming
do.
apart. Now,
Not tell me what
do you consider yourself artistic? Because I know you made that the deer for Flame Tech for
Right.
Fab Tech.
Right.
Had you ever done? And you also had made this other.
Big deer head.
Yeah,
with
something like that,
copper
right?
And stainless.
Yeah.
That was a cool project.
Yeah. So, do you like doing artistic things, or
Yeah, it's definitely much cooler for me. Like fabricating, love to fabricate because it's art in itself.
Yeah.
But
it's too many
when
rules?
it's for me, I can look at something a little bit out of square and be like, fine with me.
Yep.
But it's for a customer, you can't, and then you gotta
Correct.
fix it.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
Oh,
With art, it's always.
yeah, it's like that's exactly how I meant it.
Yeah, not always. You'll ask any other art, like Cody Aljet's.
yeah.
Me and him
Cool.
see differently. We
I
don't see
know.
like that. I'm like, nah, that looks fine. He's
Yeah.
We got to spend at
But
least
that's
30 more
that-
minutes right here
Yeah.
getting this right, man.
But we could be having a beer already.
I was like, it looks fine. It looks fine.
Yeah.
So I would say I'm a little bit like I don't know, pretty slap
Lenient.
it together, like really. Another work call.
man, I'm a busy guy.
You got other people on your Valentine's Day.
I know.
you talking to?
I got enough of this. I got more where these come from. Yeah. It is what it
I was
is.
the only one.
For the last hour, yeah. Yeah. So no, that's really cool. I'm glad that you also are able to do the A and B side of the brain. Because it's very important to detach from either or.
I like copper. Copper.
It's just so
Such
cool
a
once you
fun
hit it with
material to work with.
yeah. It's like, oh my god, look, that turned purple, blue, black, yellow. Yeah, it's really cool.
Shaping it's
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
Annealing it's fun.
How so now you have your LLC. You have some sort of
It's just like
a
it started
small
like
vision.
yesterday filing that thing.
Oh really?
So yeah, I'm like, don't even know what to do.
But at least that's the base. That's the start. Now, how is your schedule with a weld.com? Like how much travel do you do?
We're trying to really be strategic on where we go this year, mainly because our
Of
families
course.
come first, and trying to leave for a week with a young family it's a tough thing.
Do you try to get more than just one thing going while you are out there somewhere?
100%.
Yeah, because I'm just going to go to that one company and just do something there.
Yeah.
Or do you try to go someplace else or a company that has multiple things that you have enough ideas to create content?
Oh, 100%. I would say, like, for example, when we went to Florida last to shoot content, we shot 8 videos, whereas I normally shoot about 2 a week.
Okay.
We shot 8 that week.
Gotcha.
So we got to definitely try to find a way to batch it because we post twice a week.
Correct.
So it's definitely a lot to keep up with. And then, so those trips are what we really rely heavily on batching stuff, especially since we're together. We're usually traveling in little groups, so it's easier to...
How many of you normally?
Just usually me and Bo.
Okay.
It's usually just a 2-man show, man.
Yeah.
And we're trying to get better at doing some of these events. We're thinking lives are the way to go instead of trying to make a video or make a post and post after the fact. Like everyone wants to know it then and now.
Yeah,
and
it's a different connection.
If we can make people come to people's booths at these events and have like kind of scavenger hunt things, like more activities.
Exactly.
And the same video will still post to YouTube.
Yeah.
Still fine. Still gets its monetization if it does do good. But we found that most of those videos that we do at those events don't do that great. Because there's nothing to learn if you don't give them something to learn. You're just like, look at this new product.
Yeah.
It's good.
Cool, yeah. One like, yeah, no, I totally get it. So now, how is that going to change with especially expecting a second kid and everything else that you also trying to go, the vision that you have that, again, you don't know exactly what that vision is, but do you think that's going to change a lot?
I mean, how could it not?
Right.
I always tell people God laughs at us when we try to make plans, and I'm never a planner.
Yeah.
So it works for me in that aspect. I don't know what tomorrow holds. I really don't know what's going to happen. I can tell you, I'll make it. I'll make that switch
once you're forced, that's it. You got to go for it.
My wife hates that about me. She hates that I can't plan. She is the absolute planningest person ever, which I need.
I know,
need
it's a yin yang.
someone
It's
to
a yin
stop
yang.
me
Yep.
sometimes.
Oh yeah, I'm there.
Yeah, man, I can't see the problem until it's in front of me.
Got it. That's awesome. Well, I want to, thank you for many things. Definitely, I love people that push the industry forward, and definitely also have the knowledge to back it up, because that is just amazing, and it's just so needed for our youth, for even other so-called experts out there.
You don't need it to be a welder. You don't need the knowledge, but man, you got to have it.
It comes in handy.
It's nice,
It
man.
comes in handy.
If you want to move up, you want to be able to talk to those people that are running the show, right? You've got to be able to speak the right language, and then they'll be like, "Oh, this guy not only can he weld, knows how the operations and the production work, but he can talk not like a monkey." And we're gonna move him up. Now he's production manager.
There you go.
Now you move over into sales.
Yep. That's yeah. I love how you.
Hey, that's what Weld.com was to me. They pushed me into a sales role. I mean, that's why I was talking to you.
Yeah,
now
I know.
They pulled me out of that more to make content because
you know what we need to recreate that day, because when you did it that day, you still were working on your pitch on how to sell it and how to work that end. Mm-hmm. Here we are 2.5 years later almost.
Yeah, you want to buy a TikTok?
I would love. He still hasn't learned. But you know what I mean. I mean, it's a learning process, especially being in sales, because sometimes it's not about the actual sale of the one thing. It's just like, what do you do? Okay, I think I have something that might help you, whatever the hell.
Definitely have to have a plan in sales, and you got to be honest.
100%.
If you're honest and you can come through with your promises, and I always try to under promise and over deliver.
Yeah, that's how I live my life. Yeah.
Because if you make a promise, you better keep it.
And that's too much work.
Yeah,
that's too much
work.
That's too,
especially when you got a lot of promises out there.
Dude, are you kidding? Yeah, but no, thank you. I really mean that, and you guys do an amazing job on the content, and you and Bo great, make a great team. I think you guys also complement each other very well on both sides and everything else. So again, congratulations on the big family coming.
Thanks, Frank.
And yeah, just keep kicking ass, because you guys are just there, and again, not much to do, but Justin Hargett.
Austin Hargett.
See,
Smoked that one, man.
I know. I know. You know what? I was so much thinking about the last name because he said, "Oh, Target," just with and I'm like, hold on, what brand was it that he
go
mentioned?
down in the book as one of the worst ones as far as pronunciation.
I'm good at it. I'm good at what I do. You're welcome, guys. I got more where this came from, but this is the part I'm going to cut. This is not even going to come out. But no, thank you very much, brother, for just coming in and taking some time out of your day. Definitely, you guys know how this works. If they keep saying yes, who am I to say no? And I'll see you somewhere else with somebody else. Thank you, guys.
Peace out.